Welcome to our episode of Bargain Saturdays. And this week I decided to take a look at Scoob. And I have to admit, when it comes to long-running franchises like Scooby-Doo, there's almost always going to be a can of worms you're going to be opening up when it comes to these movies. Which part of the fan base do you appeal to? In this case, I'd argue it doesn't try to appeal to any of the fan bases, but, the two distinct ones I can think of are the fans of the original 70s series, from Hanna-Barbera. So they want a guy in a mask and just, a mundane villain that just, uses tricks to make themselves seem like a supernatural horror. And then you got the fans that, came in from, like, Zombie Island and stuff like that, and they want the horror, to be real.
Little more than I'd bargained for.
There's going to be probably a mystery working your way into it, but that tends to be pretty standard for most horror films, right? You gotta have the mystery sometimes. But they want, there to be actual witches, or werecats, or aliens, in the movie somewhere. You gotta get in there somehow. So yeah, they're two distinct camps to a certain extent, and you can't really please both. Because let's face it, one of them has the horror being real, the other has the horror being a guy, in a mask. Or a gal. So, yeah. But in the case of this film, it's meant to be more of an introduction to a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. Hence why we gotta have, Blue Falcon, Captain Caveman, we gotta have signs, with some other Hanna-Barbera characters on them. We gotta, make references to imply, there's this vast Hanna-Barbera universe that could be happening, in Jabberjaw, Josie and the Pussycats, Quick Draw, just all of that stuff could be together, in one universe. Imagine the possibilities, especially with Johnny Quest in there, because we all know Venture Brothers went big with that stuff while being, sort of a parody of that show. So, yeah, there's definitely the possibility for a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe, I suppose, but does this film really do a good job setting it up? And that's kind of meh, in my opinion. It doesn't really appease the Scooby-Doo fans. Even I can admit, I wish there was more of a mystery here, because we spend the entire movie trying to, collect various magical MacGuffins, like it's Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Why are there so many magical MacGuffins? Why did Alexander the Great, have the ability to open and close the portal to hell? How did he even figure that stuff out? They say that only Alexander or his descendants, or the descendants of his best friend, a dog, could ever possibly open up this portal. How did he set that up? How did he set up so you have to have one of either himself or the dog on the inside, and then have to be let out? How did he arrange for that? Some of that stuff I just don't get. It wasn't well thought out. And then, as far as the voice acting goes, they decided to go in for mostly, name recognition, which I'd argue wasn't the best idea, because they deliver a rather bland performance for the most part, in my opinion. It's not the worst I've ever experienced, so I was mostly, kind of okay with it, but I'll admit, it's not a great experience. Which just, adds to the issues the movie has, but is it a boring watch? I thought it was alright, but I'll admit the jokes, were kind of welcome at the moment, with their references to, sometimes dated internet memes and whatnot. Because for me, it's sometimes like a bit of a nostalgia trip, and after I've been through a rough day at work, it's just I want something, dumb and fun to watch sometimes. So Scoob managed to achieve that, at least. It's not something I'd really recommend watching, more than once, though. It's not some, great classic you're gonna want to, watch over and over again. And considering some of the bits, mostly rely on a comedic, meta jokes and whatnot.
Well, the robots attacked this talking dog and a gangly dude that had this habit of using the word like at the start of every sentence. Almost as if he was a middle-aged man's idea of how a teenage hippie talks.
It probably wouldn't be able to stand up to too many viewings anyway. I mean, I know some comedy films can to a certain extent, like, say, Major League, but there's still, a sports story being told there, and the comedy just feels like extra on top. That doesn't really feel like the case with Scoob, like, it feels like, we have adventure, and it came a calling, but it feels like it's more of a comedy vehicle, and the adventure is the add-on. And honestly, probably the best part of the movie is Dick Dastardly, who really likes to shout his name when people get it wrong.
Okay, Rick.
No, I'm not a Rick. I'm a Dick with a D.
Rick with a D.
Da, Dick.
Well, Rick.
Dick! Dick! Dick!
Till next time, then. See ya.
Or is it?
Simon Cowell?
Wow, that is a solid impersonation.
Thank you. I also played Rum Tum Tugger in my secondary school's production of Cats.
This makes no sense. How could he have time to judge the world's greatest talent shows and build a giant airship?
Dick Dastardly? Drat! No one ever goes for the double unmasking.